Buenos dias, steam it. How's everybody feeling today? It's a beautiful day today. Well, it's a little bit overcast, but it is a beautiful day in the cryptocurrency world. All of the cryptocurrencies are up. Looks like we're bouncing back from the heavy downs we had the last couple days. Yeah, it's kind of weird when you're doing cryptocurrency stuff. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're like, well, I made $2-3 grand last night just sleeping and dreaming. I had a recurring dream that it was kind of so good that I kept waking up. So I had to and then I had to go back to sleep, and then I would have the dream again, and then I would get excited in the dream and I would wake up again. So but you know, it was a typical dream, like none of it was real or had any validity whatsoever. It's just, you know, your subconscious mind going wild. So yeah, let's all the cryptocurrencies are up, all of them. Dotcoin, which is one that I kind of mentioned yesterday, is up like 50% or something. I don't know. I really don't understand what Dotcoin is. I need to do some more research on that. I just bought a few because a friend of mine, Random Tandems, shout out to Random Tandems, a buddy of mine on YouTube that I follow, he does live crypto trades and stuff like that. He plays my music on his channel a lot too, which is cool. Thanks for that, man. He was talking about Dotcoin one night, and they're like, you know, 0.01 cent or something. So I bought a bunch of them, and so I've just been kind of following them along. You know, they're just another small player altcoin that, you know, may or may not have anything positive going on. We'll see. I got to do more research about that. So Random Tandems, give me a tutorial on what Dotcoin is and why I should or should not be invested or divested of Dotcoin. But all of them are up. Bitcoin's up, Ethereum's up a lot, Litecoin went up a little bit, Zcash is up, Monero is up, Ripple is up. All the altcoins are up, all of them. Stock market's up too. Sometimes it seems like cryptos go up or down inversely with the stock market, so it's kind of an odd day for me, at least from what I've seemed to have noticed, that the stock market and crypto is up. That's kind of unusual. I didn't check the dollar. Makes me kind of wonder if just the dollar is down, which it should be. The petrodollar should be down because there's a lot of countries now starting to sell oil for things other than US dollars. I know Qatar is starting to do that, which is why suddenly our lifelong ally is no longer an ally. And I know Iran and Venezuela have been exploring selling oil for something other than ridiculous Federal Reserve notes. I mean, that's like clown money, you know what I mean? People talk about Bitcoin, it's like, you can't hold it, it's not real. They get all upset about Bitcoin, you know, just mostly older people or people who are, you know, technophobes. They'll get all worked up about it and start talking about it. Sorry about that, I'm back. My device ran out of memory again. I probably need to upgrade my phone at some point. I really like my service though. I'm using Google Fi, and I'm overall pretty happy with it. The bills are reasonable. The service is pretty good. I get pretty decent coverage. I live in a pretty rural area though, so there's no provider that actually gives you good coverage here. Yeah, so back to where I was. People get upset about Bitcoin and say, oh, so you can't hold it in your hand, it's not real. But it's, you know, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins, okay? And Bitcoin is not like other currency. It's your spot in a ledger. And once you have that spot in the ledger, that's your spot in the ledger. That's it. You know, it's so much more real than Federal Reserve notes, which get, you know, created out of thin air, usually by banks giving loans with money they don't even have, you know, or just, you know, straight up off the printer. You know, the Federal Reserve will just keep printing those dollars. Quantitative easing, right? It's going to print a whole bunch more, and suddenly that's going to help us with our economy. It's unsustainable. It doesn't make any sense, you know? I mean, there's a reason why 100 years ago, $1 would buy you a saddle, a meal, a suit, you know what I mean? Like $1 would buy all that stuff, you know? And now, $1 won't buy, you know, a pack of gum. So it's like, what's real here, people. I mean, you can be upset about Bitcoins if you want, but it's, you know, you should be a lot more upset about Federal Reserve notes, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit today. This isn't just about crypto, my video log. I want to talk a little bit also about Linux. So I want to talk about technology. I've been doing IT for a long, long time. Today I actually teach violin. Wednesday is my heavy teaching day. I'm on my way to go teach violin right now. Heading all the way over to the ghetto in Empire to go teach violin. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Linux. I've moved a lot of people over to Linux in the last decade. And I think there's still a lot of misconception about what Linux is and what its pros and cons are. The thing is with Linux is, if there's an app that you absolutely require for your life or your business or whatever, that's a Windows app, you're pretty much stuck with Windows. That's the real problem. Is it's not that that Windows is better or that Linux is better, although definitely Linux is better. We could get into that on a technical level if you wanted to. I should probably mention that at some point. But, you know, if there's an app you absolutely require, then you're going to need the operating system that app is written for. And a lot of people have a Windows app that they require. Some of the apps that people require are insane, though. So let's talk about that. So many people are like, I can't move to Linux. I need Microsoft Office. No, you don't. There's absolutely no reason that in 2017 you need Microsoft Office. LibreOffice is smoking Microsoft Office in most metrics. Even in importing formulas and stuff from Excel now, LibreOffice is a lot better, and that was kind of like the last weak spot there. And the last few ones that I've done have come in flawlessly from Microsoft Office. So at this point, I think everybody should be upgrading away from Microsoft Office to LibreOffice. As a matter of fact, if that's the only takeaway you get from my first week's worth of vlogs, do that for yourself, do that for your country, do that for your family. Like, move away from Microsoft Office into LibreOffice. Microsoft Office, they just keep updating it with new user interfaces, new junk, and you know, and there's never really any real improvements. In fact, most of the time, it takes more memory, it's slower. The interface has been moved around in such a way that that most people are less comfortable with the new version of Office than they were with the previous one. LibreOffice doesn't do any of that junk. LibreOffice looks exactly like Microsoft Office 2003 or something. I mean, very similar to, but, you know, with improved font support and higher resolution. I mean, it's superior in a lot of ways. I don't want to conflate the two. They're not the same. It's open source, so you're never going to get locked in or locked out of your files based on some kind of arbitrary corporate decision to change the standard. You know, that's been the most frustrating thing for me as an IT guy, having to support Microsoft Office for all these years, is so many people, you know, okay, we bought a new Microsoft Office license, and, you know, but now Jane down in accounting, who can't upgrade, you know what I mean? Because she still needs QuickBooks last year's version or whatever, and it won't even run on Windows 7 or Windows 8 or whatever. But now she can't have the new Microsoft Office, and so now, you know, the CEO keeps making new files in the new version of Office and sending them down to Jane in accounting, and she can't open them. So, because she has to stay on the old version of Office, because she has to stay on the old version of QuickBooks. Again, that's another one of those apps where it's like, if you have to have QuickBooks, then you have to have Windows. You know what I mean? And I wish there was a better open source replacement for QuickBooks. I know there's a couple and they're getting better, but that's not a space that I'm really 100% familiar with. And the people who use QuickBooks heavily rely on QuickBooks, want QuickBooks, know QuickBooks, so they're stuck with that. So. And it is what it is. I mean, you know, those people got to have Windows. And because QuickBooks is so crappy, those people got to have a really good backup system. Which is fine. QuickBooks has a fairly decent, you know, little nag screen that tells you to back your stuff up. So I haven't had too many clients have a catastrophic QuickBooks fail, which is good. Yeah, so, and then there's other things too, you know, a lot of people get worked up about the games, you know, oh, none of my games will play in Linux. It's like, I don't know, for me, it's stop playing games, you know? So you got this big, beautiful world out here. There's, you know, 16-year-olds who are millionaires now because they are smart about investing in cryptocurrency. And, you know, I know people in their 20s, 30s, 40s who are just gaming all the time. You know, no kids. You know, I don't know. If that's what they want to do, it's their life. They could do what they want to do, but it seems like they should be building a house or building a boat or buying property in Costa Rica. I don't know. Just whatever. It seems like you'd be doing something better than gaming. But even if you are like a hardcore gamer, so many of the games now are playing in Linux. A lot of them are playing, a lot of the older ones, and not like super older, like a couple years older, are playing really well in Wine. Most machines now are so powerful you could actually full-on run a virtual machine and get, you know, playable performance for games. And that's true for apps too. I mean, if you got to have QuickBooks and you don't need any of the other Windows apps and you want the reliability and stability and dependability of Linux, you could run your whole QuickBooks rig just in a virtual machine. And that's something I've actually encouraged for a few people over the years. It's worked very well for them. So especially if you've got a virtual machine on the local server that you can just remote into. That's kind of the win-win-win there, if you get that going on. That's how I'm trying to get most of my clients set up now. If they've got an app that they totally require, then I'll put it on the virtual machine on the server, and just set up, you know, a remote desktop session into that virtual machine. And, you know, so it's a double click. It's one extra double click, but with that one extra double click, now that virtual machine and that app and all that data are backed up redundantly on a RAID array, and you know, and also if I'm taking offsite backups and everything else, which for most of my clients I've got that set up now. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's way more stability, safety, all that kind of stuff. So, but here's the other problem with, there's like 1,000 versions, and most people that I run into don't know what the difference is between them, which one they should try, anything like that. So my advice is for newbies is to get one of the kind of standard generic ones and give it a shot. You know, if you've got an old laptop laying around, if you're still using your old laptop, I know a lot of people who go and buy a new laptop and then they use their old laptop for like another year, another 2 years, because it's such a pain in the butt to migrate your data over, to get the apps that you require, get all that kind of stuff done. So if that's you, then you are in a good spot, because you can put Linux on your new laptop and then slowly start migrating over to the new laptop on Linux and get out of Windows altogether. Get off of the treadmill where they're forcing updates, get off of the NSA spy machine. I mean, Microsoft has all kinds of backdoors in their OS for the NSA. They've been a partner with big government for decades now, you know, so your data is not secure if you're on Microsoft at all. And I mean, it's proven too. I mean, Windows 10, the telemetry and stuff, it's, you know, you want to talk about, you've just taken a percentage hit on your bandwidth, which is, you know, everybody pays for bandwidth in 2017, which is a tragedy. I wish we had a system where a truly P2P mesh internet, which we could have technologically right now. There's absolutely no reason why we don't have that right now. Well, there's a reason. It's corruption, collusion between, you know, large ISPs, Time Warner, and the FCC. There was a technology that was invented in the 90s called ultra wideband. If you look into ultra wideband, now they've tried to rename some other technologies ultra wideband or UWB. I think, you know, and I, you know, you could get into a conspiracy theory or whatever on that, but I think it's because they don't want people to understand what ultra wideband could have been. But what happened is they invented ultra wideband, and then the FCC limited the power of ultra wideband to something absolutely ridiculous. So it could only traverse, I don't know, 10 feet or something, or 6 yards or 10 yards or something. I don't remember the spec that the FCC finally decided. But initially, ultra wideband was supposed to be this technology where you could have a direct network connection over a couple of miles wirelessly, and it was very low power. It was so it was safer. It wasn't radiating whoever was right next to the radio as much as normal Wi-Fi or even cell phone signals would be. But yeah, the FCC just totally crippled that technology, and now as a result, you have to have an ISP like Comcast or Cox or Charter or Time Warner, or it's interesting too that most of these ISPs are some of the most evil corporations on the planet. It's like total censorship, total programming, total just garbage, and everybody has to pay for it. Everybody, you're paying for it at home, you're paying for it on your cell phone, your school's paying for it, your job's paying for it, your mom's paying for it. Everybody has to pay for their internet connection. And it's like, if we had that ultra wideband, you could have a network connection with your home from anywhere in town, basically. I mean, I think it's like 20, 30 miles is what some of the initial distance, and there's little interference because it kind of operates in the radio static spectrum. Yeah, look up ultra wideband if you want to be super upset about how we've been crippled technologically by corporate collusion with government agencies.